the motherland. Many nations refer to their nations as motherland. There are a few who refer to theirs in the male. Of course, the Germans, the fatherland, but it's not unusual to see women or see nations referred to in the feminine. But in the case of Israel, we've seen it referred to in the feminine over and over again. Some references to this, Isaiah 54, verses 1 through 6, Jeremiah 3:20, Ezekiel 16, 8 through 14, Hosea 2, 19 through 20. You all see Israel referred to in the feminine. It's much like we, the church, those of us that follow Christ and form the church, we're often referred to as brethren. We are often referred to in the masculine when it comes to our roles as being leaders in the world, as being soldiers for God. But ultimately, we are the bride of Christ, referred to in the feminine. In relation to the divine, everything would take on a feminine nature. When you see the divine, he is God. He is God in three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, all referred to in the masculine, and his divine beings that he has generated to be his messengers and his servants, the angelic beings, referred to either without gender or in the masculine because they are the generation of God himself. So you can see this a little bit of switching back and forth, but in the case of Israel, it's entirely proper to refer to her as a woman. Now, she is clothed with the sun, and the moon is under her feet, and she has a garland of 12 stars. This could seem very mysterious. Like I said, it could seem like something out of pagan or Babylonian culture. But if you refer back to Genesis 37, verses 9 through 11, you'll find that it's not such an odd picture because we've actually seen it before. It's interesting how the things of God always correlate with each other, how they're consistent, and you see things that have fallen into place fulfilled in other places, and sometimes more than once. This is the story of Joseph. Joseph's beloved of his father Jacob, because he's the son of his old age, the son by his beloved Rachel. And so he kind of dotes on them, favors them, and the brothers pick up on that, so it causes a bit of strife. But God has big plans for Joseph, and he's already revealing these to Joseph, and even that strife and division between him and his brothers put Joseph in the place where he needs to be for God to fulfill those plans. But in verses 9 through 11, Joseph, then he dreamed still another dream and told it to his brothers and said, "Look, I have dreamed another dream. And this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to me." So he told it to his father and his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you?" And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in his mind. And of course, ultimately, when Joseph has demonstrated his righteousness before God and his wisdom and his value to Pharaoh, he's next in charge of the land, next only to Pharaoh, and indeed his brothers and his father do have to bow down to him. But it gets fulfilled even moving forward, how the line of Joseph is important, how the nation of Israel is important to the world. So you can already see the picture that's described here. Jacob being compared to the sun in Joseph's dream, Rachel being compared to the moon, and of course his brothers being referred to or compared to stars as we see pictured. And of course in the garland that the woman wears, there's 12 stars, whereas compared to Joseph's dream, there's 11 stars, because Joseph is now in that garland. It's not me and you guys, it's now all of us, the tribes of Israel. Now, of course, it becomes even more plain when you consider that Jacob was renamed by God as Israel. He renamed him. And that's a little bit funny right there, because Jacob, the supplanter, who supplanted his brother Esau, has now been taken into a special purpose with God, and God renames him Israel, as in the line of his chosen people. Yet Israel means those that contend or strive with God. Truly, they are well named, for they are a stiff-necked and stubborn people, as God says, and they are. I mean, nobody can be as headstrong and stubborn and complain as much as Jews. But so it's aptly named. It goes on, and she's in labor. She's crying out in pain to give birth. Interestingly, at what period in Israel's history did Messiah come to the world by Mary? It was during the time of the Roman occupation, a time of great pain and travail for the nation. And that is when Messiah, is when Jesus Christ is born of Mary. Any questions thus far?
So this woman is giving birth to Mary?
This woman that is giving birth is actually the nation of Israel, introducing Messiah. Of course, Jesus Christ ultimately is born of Mary, so you can narrow it down to the woman giving birth being Mary, but ultimately it is the nation of Israel, because that is the woman whereby he brings his law and brings his Redeemer to the earth. All right, moving along, the next sign comes up, and these are really running, you can't really separate the two. It's like this great spiritual cosmic battle that's being described to us. And we come to understand a lot of things about where we are in our own day as we understand this passage. But it gives the sign of the fiery red dragon. And it gives some descriptions about the dragon, his 7 heads, his 10 horns, referring to the kingdoms of the earth that he seeks to control the earth through, to establish his own kingdom. I thought most significantly was the 7 crowns, the 7 diadems, the 7 crowns on his heads. Only Jesus Christ is worthy to bestow crowns. So when this fiery red dragon that we're later told is the devil, is Hasatan, the accuser, we understand that these are not really crowns that he deserves. They're not really crowns that he has a right to. These are crowns that he has given himself and given his minions, these little kingdoms of the earth. And they're really significant in that they demonstrate to us how much Satan wants to be the ruler of the earth in the place of God, a place that he does not deserve and does not belong. And it describes to us the war that breaks out. His tail drew a third of the stars. Those stars, remember when we began the study of Revelation, we talked about stars often represent the messengers of God, and that these messengers can be